Welcome into the studios today, ladies and gentlemen. Josh Carter is head baseball coach at West Lawrence High School. Coach Carter, thanks for coming in. You know, we just really want to talk a little baseball. We had a short season, obviously, this year, but, you know, you had young men who played for 3 and 4 years at West Lawrence, and you got to enjoy some good time with them, didn't you?
Yeah, I sure did. Yeah, it was a short season. Started out rough. We had a lot of rain at the beginning of the season, so wasn't able to play a whole lot. And then, obviously, the pandemic hit.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about the rain, man. That set everything back. It just kept going and kept going, didn't it?
It sure did.
You talk about adversity in life, and we talk about that with kids, but it's usually during the form of in a game that one part of your game's not going well, and you got to adjust, or you're down, or something's just not quite clicking. It's usually in that environment. It's not usually on the whole season. It's not in life.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, but okay, let's stop just for a minute now, Coach. Some people may not know about you know where you grew up, type thing, about your family, what you did for us playing baseball, and you know where you got your abilities from, your learning from, where you went to college. Share that with us, would you?
Yeah, I grew up in Brantley County, which is a county right next to Waycross, Georgia. Had a very loving, still have a very loving mom. Had a very loving father. Passed away 4 or 5 years ago, but grew up in a great home, a great Christian home, and they introduced the game of baseball to me at a very early age. So I played since I could walk, and had a successful career at Brantley County High School, and then went and played at Kennesaw State University. And I moved up after I graduated. I moved up to Athens to be closer to what is now my wife. Hope Hatcher is her maiden name. So we've been married this June to be 10 years. She was in the state FFA department at UGA, and I coached and taught baseball at Hebron Christian Academy, where I coached there for 3 years. Had some success there. In 14, we made it to the Final Four, and then in 15, we lost in the state championship in the third game in the ninth inning. So, and then we moved back down here. I made a promise to Hope that we would move back closer to her family whenever we started looking at having a family. So we live in Dexter, Georgia. I've been here for 5 years, and then November was a year ago that we adopted a sweet baby boy named Hatcher.
Oh man, congratulations! And on 10 years of success in marriage, right. You know nothing comes easy, man.
That's right.
So congratulations to you. You got a wonderful wife, and we've had her on before with FHA with things that she does.
Yeah.
Or FFA, I should say, you know, things that she does with the school, and she's just got a winning personality like you do too. Of course, when you look at her mom and dad, you know, she was brought up right, and they're workers in our community. They're workers not only through the school system through years and years, but also, you know, in the church families of our community, and you know, you did real well, and I love the name.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
It's a great name.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, man, I could look the world over and not find a better person and Hope. And better in-laws. We live just 400 or 500 yards up the road from them and spend a lot of time with them.
Yeah. So, Josh, when you look at that making decisions in life, where do you put all that credit, man? I want you to speak to people right now, because things just don't fall in place for you if you don't follow the right guidelines.
Yeah. The good Lord. I mean, the good Lord has blessed Hope and me. He's blessed me throughout my walk with Him. He's blessed Hope throughout her walk with Him as well, and that's really what we live by. We look to Him for our decisions, and we try to do our best to get His guidance on every decision. It was tough, man. It was really tough leaving Athens. She had a thriving job. I had guys coming back, and actually the year after I left, they lost again in state championship in the third game. So had a lot of talent there, but we just felt being called back to her community, and it was tough for me, because I was known in Gwinnett. Get down here, nobody knows me, you know. So I really struggled with that for a year or two. And Coach Brown, he stayed on me ever since he knew me to come coach, and I kept putting him off. So finally, I gave in last year and really enjoyed being on his staff. He did a fantastic job with the guys, and before I took this job, I got his blessing, and he said, "Josh, I don't want anybody else to do it but you."
Yeah, speaks volumes. How different has it been coming from a Christian school and going into public school?
It's been a little different. Public school, I taught public school for 2 years before I got into a private Christian school. They're just there isn't as much red tape in a private school versus a public school, but we have a great community here. We have great kids here, and we have, and I tell our kids all the time, our parents here, for the most part, are very, very good. So they grow up in good homes, and they're taught from the beginning of how to act and how to carry on with their morals and their values, and I believe most of that comes through church and comes through the home and the good Lord.
Yeah, a lot of times if you grow up here, you spend all your time here, you don't think about the fact that we do live in a very good community. It's not like a lot of other communities. It is a grounded community, a church-based community, which, again, when you leave, a lot of times you find out everybody didn't grow up like you did.
That's right.
But fortunate for us, there are a lot of Christian homes and people who choose to make the right decisions. And then we have coaches who want to mentor these young men who live by example.
That's right.
And, again, hats off to Brown. He did a good job of trying to do the right thing, expressing, his faith. But then, you coming in, it's just so good to hear that, Josh, that you're grounded in the Word, you grew up in a good family, and you're able to continue. Now, let's talk a little bit more about what position you played, or played the position you played.
High school, I pitched and played first, and then in college, I pitched. Yeah.
Got a good glove, got a good arm. Yeah. And so in that experience, you loved the game, no doubt about it. You played many, many, many hours on that baseball diamond. And so do these young men. They grew up on that diamond. Now, some of them on the football field, a track, other sports. But, man, they grew up on that diamond. Now, around here, you play a lot of baseball. Yeah. And so you have some seniors that we really want to take a look at, ladies and gentlemen, and share some of their story. We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back with Coach Carter.
If you're in the market for affordable transportation, come on in to Dublin Auto Sales. Getting to work, school, or around town every day requires dependable transportation. And that's what you'll find at Dublin Auto Sales, offering in-house financing too, so credit is never an issue. See Wayne Kemp or any of his friendly staff. Bill Topping, Alan Fields, TJ DeRochi. Look for Dublin Auto Sales at 1705 Telfair Street and 406 North Jefferson, and also at 511 North Jefferson, where you'll find a great deal. Dublin Auto Sales, affordable transportation you can count on.
I'm Heath Richter, and we just want to invite everybody to come on down to the Houston Clinic and check us out at our new facility. We've been in Dublin for a while now, obviously, but have a new office here, and we'd just like you to come down and see some of the new stuff we're offering. And if you need to get checked out, we'd be glad to do that for you. We've got able to do some ultrasound-guided injections now, and physical therapy, and just a little bit better space, so hopefully we can get you in and out of here a little bit quicker.
Come by and see us today at our brand new location, the Houston Clinic, Medical Drive in Dublin.
All right, welcome you back, ladies and gentlemen. Again, here with Coach Josh Carter, head baseball coach at West Lawrence High School. And what a great program. It was shocking to me 4 or 5 years ago, whatever the actual year was, Josh, that West Lawrence won their first region. That shows you how tough that region is. But, with so much baseball going on in our community and so much growth coming, it seems to get better and better, especially on the West Lawrence program. So, in looking at that, you had, 6 seniors this year?
Yes.
Yeah, and again, they played a lot of ball over time, and we just wanted you to maybe share some about those young men and maybe go over the roster, so to speak, of those seniors.
Okay. Yeah, I give a lot of credit to our rec department here. Brian Millette does a good job. And trying to get these kids developed so they're better whenever they get to us. Also give a lot of credit to Dudley Little League, man. Those guys over there have done a fantastic job of honing talent, and that just makes our job as coaches a lot easier whenever they get to us. And then travel ball does a good job as well, and you've got some guys that know what they're doing. So these kids play a lot of baseball. So we're just going to talk about some of these seniors. As we've said, their season was cut drastically short. It was unfortunate because I was looking forward to a great season. As these guys, the 4 years they've been in high school, they've had a fantastic career. They've had a fantastic run. So I'll start with Parker Woods. He played left field for us. He played center field for us. He could play anywhere in the outfield. Just a competitive, athletic guy. This year, through 8 games, he was batting .350 and had an on-base percentage of .483. And he's just a guy, Parker. I taught Parker in 8th grade and just was drawn to Parker, really liked Parker. He'll do anything and did anything that I asked him to, regardless of where I wanted him to hit in the lineup, where I wanted him to play in the outfield, and he did everything that he could to help his team win. The guy was a good teammate, good guy in the classroom as well, and Parker's going to be successful in anything that he pursues in his career. And he was one of those guys that I was looking forward to coaching as a head coach. And it's funny because I told him a lot. In 8th grade, I said, look, I said that one day I may be coaching you guys, and as it happens, I had 2 years with these guys. So enjoyed coaching Parker, and like I said, he's going to be a successful guy. Comes from a successful background, so he'll do really, really good things in life. And I was looking forward to him having a good year as he did through 8 games, but carrying that on throughout the year. So that's Parker Woods. He played outfield for us, and he's one of our 2020 seniors. Next, we're going to talk about Brody Slaughter. Brody caught for us. He caught for us all 4 years. Fantastic player on the field. He's a leader on the field. He's a leader on and off the field. Brody goes about his business in and out of the classroom in the right way. He led us behind the plate and led us at the plate. My last year with Coach Brown, I was the pitching coach, so I was able to work with Brody a lot with the pitchers, and really, really enjoyed working with Brody. He does a really, really good job with our pitching staff, and he was one of our main guys at the plate as well. Brody's actually going to continue his career at St. Leo in college. He's going to play for them. So I look forward to watching him and following him throughout his career. And he's just one of those guys, again, just a very competitive guy that wants to win, hates when he loses. And he's a consistent guy in the classroom and out of the classroom. We're going to dearly miss him behind the plate. That's one of the gaps we've got to fill next year. And he filled that gap very, very well. And I told him just the other day through a text that I enjoyed coaching him, and I hated the way the season ended, because he was going to have a great year this year. But no doubt he's going to have a successful career, college career for baseball, and future career just in life. All right, next we're going to talk about Paul Kellen. The 2 years that I coached, Paul played second primarily, and if I'm not mistaken, he's the valedictorian of 2020. So just a very intelligent guy, and a good dude. Paul is a worker. He's just a good person with good values, good morals. Comes from a very good background. He's one of the first ones to come to the field every day, and he's one of the last ones to leave. He was just a work ethic type guy, a coach's dream, Paul was, and I really enjoyed coaching him. Regardless of what we asked Paul to do, he did it to the best of his ability, and he played very well for us. Did some things for us that maybe he didn't want to do. I asked him to bunt a good bit this year, and of course, guys don't like to bunt a ton, but in those situations, he would sacrifice himself for the team. And no doubt with Paul's intelligence and Paul's drive and Paul's work ethic, he's going to be a very successful person throughout life. So I'm not exactly sure. I want to say he may be attending UGA. I'm not exactly sure about that, but wherever he goes, he's going to represent the community well, and he's going to do well in life. And he's one of those guys that you wish you had for 4 years because he's just a coach's guy. All right, next we're going to talk about Sam Reiner. Last year, Sam really didn't have a consistent role his junior year, so I was excited to give him the opportunity to have a consistent role in the outfield. And he played right field for us. He did a great job in the 8 games that he played. He batted in the leadoff spot for us some and did pretty well there. So I was just, with this year, I was looking forward to seeing him develop and to seeing him have a good senior year and taking him out on a good note. I believe his sophomore year, he was player of the year for the region. He was runner-up. So he had a great sophomore year, really didn't have a consistent role his junior year, and then we're going to give him a consistent role this year. So with the games that we did play, Sam did a good job for us. I taught Sam in 8th grade as well. If you don't know Sam, a lot of people say, well, he's so lackadaisical and he acts like he doesn't care all the time. That's just Sam's personality. He really does care. Sam doesn't care to lose. He wants to get out there and compete with the best of them. Sam's another brainy guy. He does very well in the classroom, and all of these seniors, to my knowledge, do very well in the classroom and he's a guy that's going to be successful as well after he graduates high school, and I know he'll do well for the community. So I'll miss coaching Sam, as I will miss coaching all of these guys. AJ Mathis is our next guy. AJ played center field for us, and AJ pitched for us as well. He did both well. So his junior year, I thought he had a very good year, both in the outfield and on the mound. He threw a lot of games for us in the playoffs and had a lot of big innings for us. And he's one of two of our lefties, so it's always nice to have a strong left-handed arm. AJ's a worker. He's got a good work ethic. He was also the quarterback for the football team, so he was one of those dual sport guys. But enjoyed coaching AJ. He did a great job for us on the field, and he's once again he's a winner. He hates to lose. Not exactly sure what his plans are after high school, but once again he comes from a very strong family, like all of these guys, and he's going to be successful with whatever his future endeavors are. So I enjoyed coaching AJ, and he'll definitely be missed next year as well. Then I believe our last one is Wade Brantley. Wade pitched for us for 3 years. I'm not sure if he got any varsity time as his freshman year. But Wade, when I got Wade as a junior, there were some things that we worked on consistently through his junior year, and he consistently got better. So it was nice to see him progress in the 2 years that I coached him. And Wade's a multi-talented guy. He's a one-sport guy, but he does a lot of things that people don't see off the field. Anything that I ask Wade to do off the field constructively with his hands, he always got it done. Actually, he won through an organization at school, won a state competition building cabinets. So he's a multi-talented guy. Wade's got a one-of-a-kind personality. He likes to make people laugh and likes to joke around and have a lot of fun. So Wade's going to be missed as well on our program, along with all of these guys whenever they leave West Lawrence. So, I told a lot of these younger guys that between this year and next year, there are a lot of shoes to fill, because between these guys and the 13 or 14 guys we're losing next year, we're going to be losing 20 guys. So, Wade, you'll do great in life, and I know you'll be successful at whatever you do.
Yeah, I'm sure you say it's been a big benefit for you, been a big blessing for you to be able to feed into these young men and have that time with them. I guess you start practicing into January, right at the beginning of February. I don't know when the actual date is that Georgia High School said you could start, but
yeah.
You got some time with them on that field, and you had a lot of practice. Of course, you had that adversity, the rain not coming, and then with the season being cut short, but. It's just spending that time with coachable kids, or with people who we take for granted a lot of times, a coachable person, or a person that's easy to work with, adaptable, that willingness to have a great attitude and do whatever's needed in whatever situation. People sometimes say in the work world, that they don't like that employee or that person they work with who says, that's not my job. And that's not the type of players that you have. You have workers, you have smart kids, you have coachable kids.
Yeah.
And as young parents seeing their kid come along, talk to them about how important that is.
Yeah, it's very important. I would rather have a coachable kid, somebody that's going to work hard and do what you ask them to do, than have the most talented kid and them not want to do anything that you want them to do. So all of our kids, for the most part, are very, very very coachable, and it makes our job easier. I tell all of my guys, I'm not a cookie cutter type guy, so I know every kid, every athlete, as well as every student. They're different, and they don't all click the same. Therefore, I can't, and my coaching staff can't coach them all the same. So we give them recommendations. When they get to us, there are small tweaks that we'll make. So we give them recommendations, and if it doesn't work, we go back to the drawing board. It's not what we say as a coaching staff or what I say sticks. I mean, if it works, it sticks. If it doesn't, we'll go back to the drawing board. So being coachable is definitely one of the top priorities in order to be a good ball player.
Yeah. Here with Coach Carter. We're going to take another short break and be right back, so you stay with us.
First Lawrence Bank invites you to experience banking at its best. Whether you have personal or business needs, we're a full-service bank big enough to handle all of your banking needs and small enough to provide you with that personal touch you've grown to expect from a community bank like First Lawrence Bank. Looking forward to your future? That's First Lawrence Bank in Dublin and Dexter, member FDIC.
Hey, I'm Glenn Register with Hometown Supply. Hometown Supply, located in downtown Dublin, is here for all of your home and hardware needs. We work with customers. I know sometimes times get tough. We work with you through those. Local delivery is available for merchandise sold. Anything that a customer needs, we take care of. Just remember, if you can't do business at Hometown Supply, you just can't do business.
Hey, want a successful career? Start with an education that puts you front and center with hands-on experience. An education that will prepare you for opportunity in 2 years or less. An education that's fast and affordable. Most OFTC students graduate debt-free thanks to the Hope Career Grant, which offers free tuition in more than 63 programs. Think differently about college. Choose OFTC for an education that's fast, local, and debt-free. OFTC is an equal opportunity institution.
Back with Coach Carter. And Coach Carter, you talked about your seniors, and you got a good team all the way around. You got a younger kids that got to grow up in a hurry, but you can't do it without coaching, and you certainly can't do it all by yourself, can you? So let's talk about your assistant coaches and middle school coaches.
Yeah, so I'll start with the middle school level. Coach Vaugn Murchison is the head coach at the middle school. Does a great job with those guys. I actually tried to get him to come to the high school with me, and he just loves developing that feeder program for us. So I work with him on an everyday basis at the middle school, and then whatever he needs, I try to get him whatever he needs to make those guys the best they can possibly be. But runs a tight program down there, and that feeds right into our program. So he's done a very good job there. And Coach Adam Wood assists Coach Murchison, and he does a good job as well working with those guys and developing those guys. And they're just two good guys. They're friends of mine. And then they're also on the coaching staff, so I enjoy having them around, and I know they're doing the right things. And then Coach Waits did coach at the middle school for several years, and he was one of my guys this year that came out of retirement per se. I asked him and tugged on his arm, and he came back and helped us, and he did a good job. Coach Waits is one of the hardest working guys that I've worked with. He'll do anything that I ask him. A lot of things that he does, I don't have to ask him because he just goes and does. So we run a real tight ship, and I'll tell you a quick story. Coach Waits, if there's dirt or anything like that around that needs sweeping or needs vacuuming, he just does it. So, and I'll get on the guys whenever that happens because in my mind, a coach shouldn't be doing that. That's part of our upkeep of our facility. So Coach apologized to me a couple times and said, Coach, that was my fault. I got the kids in trouble. That's just who I am. I want to clean and make things right, but the guys learn to keep things up the way that we want them. So I enjoyed having Coach Waits. Coach Martin Cawthon also coached with us. He was on staff my first year. He assisted me with the pitching, and he does a great job. Martin and I are very close friends, and he actually started teaching this past year. So enjoyed having Martin on staff. Coach Waits and Coach Cawthon will both be back with me next year. And both those guys, along with my other coaches, do a great job with the kids, and they have the bigger picture in view. And it's, I tell the guys all the time, as the other coaches do, yeah, we want to win. We hate losing. But when it's all said and done 10 years from now, nobody's going to know about the wins and losses. It's going to be, I tell the guys, look, if one day I see you guys out in the community with your spouse next to you, and you have a kid or two, and you've done well in life, and you're a beneficial part of society, and you're leading your family in a Christ-like nature, that's where my success will be. So it won't come until that point. Had Coach Case Matthews, Coach Jeremy Matthews. A lot of you guys may know Coach Jeremy Matthews. It's his oldest son. This was Case's first year coaching baseball in school. So he came and helped us and did a great job. Knew he was going to be green out of the gate, but he did a great job with the guys. He jumped right in and got in the deep end and developed a lot of our outfielders, helped with pitching some, and did a great job. And I enjoyed having him on staff, and hopefully he enjoyed it as much as we did having him. He'll be back next year as well, and look forward to developing his young career. And then finally had Coach Jody Pollock. And Coach Pollock and Coach Brown, as you guys know, they're basically brothers. They love each other, and they're best friends. So it took me about 6 to 8 months with Coach Pollock to get him back on board, and I didn't want him to coach for me if he didn't have Coach Brown and Miss Brown's blessings, and he got that, and I just kept tugging on him because in my opinion he's one of the best coaches in Georgia, and he came back on staff with us and had a great year, and I think the guys really enjoyed having him back out, and I know I certainly did because he's played for some of the best coaches in the nation, and he really knows how to develop talent, so I enjoyed having him, and he'll be back out with us again next year as well.
That's awesome. Coach, you went about things the right way, it sounds like. That's such a good story to hear, the way you went about everything and kind of get it straight from the horse's mouth on how everything transpires for you to set up who you have. But you have a good coaching staff. You have a staff that leads by example. That's so vitally important, and feeding into those young men. You have coaches with a lot of experience, and you got a young man in Matthews that is out there and just wants to make a difference, willing to run and got a lot of energy. And he's coachable to learn how to coach. Right. So, and been around the game all his life, so that's got to be a blessing. But Coach, when you look at this year, you look at these young men, and you hear it through life as a young person. You got to play the game. Play your very best. This could be the last game you ever play. You don't know what might happen, but man, it really rang true to them this year. So, what are some of the words that were shared and the takeaway that you think they'll get from it?
Yeah. It's tough. Any way you look at it, it's tough. We were one of the only games before the country got shut down. We played on a Friday night. We played over at Jeff Davis, and at that point, I thought we would be off for 2 or 3 weeks, and then back at it. Nobody knew that this would be it. So, it's hard to come up with words, honestly. Because you have something that you're looking forward to with these seniors in their senior year and their senior baseball year, their senior year in school, prom, all this stuff, and it was just yanked away from them. So, one thing that I told them, and one thing that I'll continue to tell them, is that the only constant in life is change. You never know when it's coming. We don't know when we're going to take our last breath or when we're going to have changes in life. The one thing that I think all of those guys know is that I genuinely care about them and genuinely love them, and they know they can call on me at any point in their life, and that's one thing I try to reiterate with the guys on a weekly basis, is that just because you're playing for me, it doesn't end when the year's over or when you graduate. Call me at any time. Call me at 11 p.m., 2 a.m. If you're in trouble and you need somebody to talk to or you need some help, give me a call. So I just encourage those guys just to do the absolute best they can in life and go about things the right way, morally, and continue to keep their values and continue to keep their eyes on Christ.
Coach, we're missing some opportunities now to grow as ball players or whatever sport that you may be involved in. When it comes to baseball, what do you tell parents? What can they do to be able to help their kids develop at this pivotal time, because you got more time with your young man or your daughter, what have you? What should they do to continue to develop them in the proper way?
Yeah, there's time. Spend time with them outdoors. Spend time playing catch. It just depends what age the kids are at. Spend time hitting out the yard. If you have a hitting facility to go to in the community, you can go to that. And if you have the financial ability to get your kids lessons, you can do that as well. But time is the biggest deal, and that's where kids learn. Most kids learn in the backyard, growing up in the backyard. So, and a lot of my guys, are different than a lot of other kids at the rec level or the little league level. But they got to continue working out. They got to continue keeping themselves in shape. So, but I would just say, just taking the time to develop a young person.
Well, you've just had a limited time really in the program, a couple of years at West, I guess. But in looking at what you got to work with, the community as it is, what are some goals that you have going forward as a coach?
The community, we have a great community here. I mean, we set out each year and we try to fundraise and we do a good job of that. We have some parents that really get after it and have some kids that get after it, and the community just backs our program, as they do a lot of programs on both sides of the river. So I just want these kids, these guys first and foremost, just to develop into good people, besides the wins and losses. At the end of the year, baseball is going to fall by the wayside when it's all said and done. So I just want them to see in my coaching staff and in me, how to live. You know, we don't do it right. I tell those guys all the time, look, I mess up more than you do on a daily basis on a lot of days. But you've got to deal with that adversity. You've got to deal with change in your life, and you've got to do it the right way. And that's one thing that Hope and I try to model with everybody that we come in contact with, is just a good marriage. You know, we try to model that in the community, work at the same school, so we try to model that for the kids as well. But on the baseball side of it, I mean, we've got 13, 14 guys that are going to be seniors this year, this upcoming year, and we're going to have a lot of success. We should do very well this upcoming year. We've got a lot of talent. We've got some college commits, and got some guys that just want to get out there and get after it in baseball. So, you know, the last 3 years prior to this year, we made a run to the Elite Eight. So I don't see any reason why we can't make a good run this next year. Had plans of doing that this year with these seniors, and unfortunately the year got cut short. So the cupboard for right now in our baseball program is pretty full.
And Coach, we really appreciate you coming in today, but more so than anything, we appreciate that you exemplify that your value comes from Christ and not in what you do or what you accomplish. So that's most important. We really appreciate that. We appreciate the future is bright and what you're going to offer the program over there and what you're going to offer the young men. But thanks most of all for coming in and being able to just share these seniors. Let's run down that list again of who your seniors are and those numbers.
You got Parker Woods is number 10, class of 2020. You've got Brody Slaughter, number 5, class of 2020. You have Paul Kellen, number 7, class of 2020. You have Sam Reiner, number 1, class of 2020. A.J. Mathis, number 15, class of 2020. And you've got Wade Brantley, number 16, class of 2020.
All right. Going out on that note, ladies and gentlemen, if you see the young men, if you can contact them on social media, whatever you can do to encourage these young men, their future is going to be very bright. And we just remind you we're all in this together, and we'll come through it all right and be shaking hands and going to church and what have you just in a few short weeks. Okay. So again, Coach Carter, thanks for coming in, and thank you for joining us right here on TV 35.